I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your 3-minute cattle market update for Wednesday, January the 11th. And what we're going to see here is a big matchup between the Packers and the Cowboys. Now, the Packers normally are favored going into this deal, but the Cowboys got a big head of steam this go around because of the board being up so big on Tuesday there, with limit up moves on both live cattle contracts and feeder cattle contracts. But we've also turned the basis around. We went from a $3 basis on last week's fat cattle trade. Now we're at a negative basis there, and it looks like we're going to probably see at least $1 or $2 gain in your fat cattle market, where we were thinking coming into the week that we'd be lucky to hold steady and probably going to lose some ground. Now we're thinking maybe we can even get to $1.20. We'll see what happens here on Wednesday and see what the Fed Cattle Exchange does, and we might spark some trade right after that. But $1.20, we haven't seen that since July. So we're really hoping for big things here on this Packers and Cowboys matchup coming up. But you look at your board here on live cattle futures February contract. Monday was up $1.70. Tuesday up the $3 limit to end the day on Tuesday at $119.52 for your February. Feeder cattle on the March contract, Monday was up $1.70. Tuesday up the $4.50 limit to end the day on Tuesday at $130 even, and it's really catching up here to what the cash market's doing, and a real boost there. January contracts at $132.70, and that's in there real tight of what cattle are bringing, and maybe even a premium to that. So this could spark even that big heavy feeder market that's been down so far this week, and it might prop them up for later week sales. Look at your weighted average on last week's fat cattle trade on 75,500 head, which is down from what we've been seeing for the last several months, but about the same as what we would have had a year ago this time, and what we'd had previous to that big run up in the negotiated trade we've seen over the last 4 or 5 months. But on a live basis there, your steers averaged $117.67, which is closer to the main price than what we've seen in a lot of weeks trade, but that's just up 23 cents from the previous week. Your dress trade at $187.97 on steers, the weighted average there, which was actually down 91 cents, and we're actually calling that as a whole $2 lower. So that's kind of a mixed bag there. We ought to see the northern plains picking up and maybe selling a little bit of premium to the southern plains, because the show lists are getting tighter. Market ready supplies are tighter now up in the northern plains, and they had that bitter cold weather. It's kind of sucked the weights down on those cattle and things. So we should see that flip-flop around, and you get a whole lot more dress trade up in the northern plains than what you do in the south. And so we ought to see that dress trade pick up a little bit. Like I said, maybe we can get to $1.20 this week. That would be a huge shot in the arm, and just a really amazing recovery for your fat cattle market after what we've been through. But box beef cutout values have been hard down early this week, and we're thinking that we ought to be gaining some ground, as normally we see a little rally right in the new year every year on January box beef cutout values. But boy, the choice select spread is really sucked up tighter, and we just don't have as many people buying those real expensive high dollar choice and higher cuts as we did before the holidays. And so now we're getting back into the regular swing of things and filling in just the regular supermarkets and things that people eat on a regular day basis. But your slaughter's been good so far this week, 232,000 through Tuesday there, and that's 9,000 more than the same week a year ago, which is a good measuring point right there. And we've gotten away from the holidays, so that's the best thing, is getting those holidays in the rearview mirror. But Packers they're trying to get a big week's kill here, maybe 600,000 or more this week, and they know the numbers are going to be tightening down, and it looks like maybe they may be getting in where their margins are not quite as good, and heaven forbid that they stop making big money, and if they start to lose money or really get tight down where they're not making much at all, then they're going to cramp down on those kills, which you would think they would normally do. But right now, while they're still making a little bit of money, they're going to keep slaughtering as many cattle as they can, and kind of build their inventory up and get ready for the leaner times coming down the road. But you look at your feeder cattle markets through the first part of this week. Oklahoma City had 11,000, hadn't had a sale for quite a while there, and had 11,000, which is a really good offering there for anybody, and even good for Oklahoma City at National Stockyards. But they just saw what we've been seeing through the last part of last week there, and the early parts of this week and other places. Those big cattle weighing going right into the feedlot, weighing over 7.5, over 8. It's just really been down here for the last 10 days, almost 2 weeks, going back to the first sales that started back after the holidays, but they sold them 5 to 8 lower than before the holidays, going back all the way before that. So they're seeing all that drop in those big heavy feeders, but those middleweight cattle, they're seeing the boost in those too. Your feeders and mostly calves weighing under 800 pounds, steady to $4 higher in Oklahoma City. Joplin, continuation of the same thing. They did have a sale last week, so 7,300 compared to that big sale they had last week. Same type of deal. The cattle weighing over 750 were steady to $2 lower, and those middleweight feeder calves weighing under 750 down to the lightweights $2 to $4 higher. We're seeing a lot of stock show specials here the start of this week in conjunction with the National Western, and really some impressive markets there. Your mountain state sales there are benefit from the stock show. And Lahana Winter Livestock in Lahana, Colorado there. Look at the market there on Beef Market Central, $1 to $6 higher, and really impressive market they had there. Another sale that benefited from the stock show going on was Riverton, Wyoming. Big quote there, 255 head string there, steers weighing 612 at $152.75. And you can get all those quotes right there on Beef Market Central. And a lot of you say, well, I got that on my phone. I got that BMC on my phone, or I've got it on my tablet. How do I get to that? Well, if you look across the bottom on your phone there, you see that you have quotes where you get your board all the time, and then the next one over is news in the cattle industry coming on, then weather. If you go over to the More button and you hit More, that'll bring up some of these extra benefits that you get if being a BMC user there, and all those Cattle Market Central quotes that I've been talking about for the last several months there, you can get them right there on Beef Market Central. And if you get to a point where you can't go any farther, then that's where you need to get your login. And like I said, if you're a Merck Animal Health customer, which they're the exclusive sponsor for this, for all of these amenities on this Beef Market Central. If you're a Merck Animal Health customer, get a hold of who you buy your products from. They'll get you a login there, and then you can go in there and dig up all these quotes that I talk about all the time on these market updates. But that's 3 minutes, and we'll talk to you on Friday.